show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's October 13th, 2021. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. And Matt, you know what we're going to talk about today? We're going to talk about this game coming up Saturday against North Carolina because it's so interesting. For starters, I mean, it's absolutely nothing like what we anticipated it would be before the start of the season. We thought that this would be one of the key games in the ACC this year, that the Coastal Division Championship would probably be on the line when these two teams play in Chapel Hill on Saturday. And the season has evolved absolutely nothing like that at all, on both the Miami end and the North Carolina end. North Carolina has been struggling since day one. They're really pretty much, I think, out of the Coastal race at this point in the season. Miami isn't, because unlike Carolina, Miami's only played one conference game. And Carolina, I guess, has played, 4 or 5? I'm trying to remember what the exact number is. But the point is they've played a lot of their conference schedule, and Miami hasn't. So Miami's not out of the conference race if they can somehow find a way to win on Saturday in Chapel Hill. But I got to think that they're going to be facing a Carolina team that's as angry as they are. Miami has a lot to be angry about coming into this game, both the way the season's gone, all the adversity they've been facing, and, obviously now with their season pretty much on the line in Saturday's game. And then Carolina's mad because their season has gone in the dumper and has been nothing like what they thought it would be. And Mac Brown even got testy with the media this past week and kind of tried to blame the media for having inflated expectations for this Carolina team. So, Matt, this is insane. I mean, quite frankly, absolutely nothing like we would have expected a month ago.
I mean, it's bizarre. I can't even put my finger on what caused it, but it just seems like even really in college football, Alabama's not unbeatable. Clemson's not the best team in the ACC, maybe not even the second best team in the ACC. Like, what is going on? I'm not even sure if Miami's not the worst team besides Duke in the ACC. Like, it's just very hard to tell right now what's what and what's not what. You would think, 5 games in, you'd know what kind of team Miami has, and you don't.
Isn't it just unfathomable that they would be one of the worst couple teams in the ACC?
No,
I can't even imagine that that it's really that bad.
I mean, it's like you order Italian food and you wind up with Chinese food at your door. Like, it's inexplicable. I don't know how this can have happened. I have no rhyme or reason. I've been doing this a long time. This is like the weirdest year in terms of having no explanation for what's happening. Like, every player on the team's gotten worse somehow. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe except for a couple of guys. And North Carolina and Miami both being not good when they're supposed to be the best in the Coastal. Like, it's just super weird.
Man, I hope that there's some real soul searching going on in the Hecht Athletic Center these days, because all you had to do was turn the TV on this weekend, and my God, the validation of how poorly run this program is right now was right there in front of you. I mean, you're seeing Miami couldn't even begin to compete with Alabama. That game could have been a 50, 60-point margin if Nick Saban wanted. And then we see Florida play Alabama down to the final play, and we see Texas A&M beat Alabama. I mean, these are good teams in college football this year, but that's what Miami football is supposed to be. And if you ever compromise off of that standard, then, I don't know whether this program will ever make it back. And I'm of the firm conviction that this could be a top 10 program pretty much every single year if it would just be run properly. And I know that we sound harsh these days, and we are harsh, because you know what? It's like, isn't enough enough? I mean, how many years in a row does it have to go like this for somebody to wake up at the University of Miami? And this is not just a Blake James or a Manny Diaz problem. This is an institutional problem that will not be solved until the institution itself decides that it wants it to be different. But I don't want to get off on that tangent today. That's more conversation for down the road. But Matt, the bottom line is that win or lose in Chapel Hill on Saturday, Miami needs to stay focused on a big picture.
I don't know what that means. I mean, there is no big picture anymore. If Manny Diaz loses his next 2 games, it's over. Like that's not big picture. That's like right now. That's 2 weeks. Manny Diaz has 2 weeks where his career will either, in my opinion, end at Miami or be extended for at least a certain amount of time after that, maybe to the following year if things go right. But there's no big picture for Manny Diaz. It's this year or bust. Like, he's not looking ahead to next year anymore. I guarantee you that. He's not thinking, let's start reaching out to these 2023 and 2024 and 2025 recruits, build these relationships. No, this is about, we got to win now. Like, it's all in now. There's no point in even recruiting right now with recruits not even knowing if he's going to be there. Like, it's just win these next 2 games or it's over. That's how I look at it. There's no big picture.
Yeah, I'm thinking more big picture in terms of the program. I'm pretty much resigned to the fact that Manny's not going to be able to get this done here. I mean, I think that we kind of knew that, but this year has really put an exclamation point on it. And it's more than a missed field goal against Virginia. It's the whole thing. I mean, it's showing up in Atlanta totally non-competitive, not having a clue what your offensive line is supposed to look like. It's almost getting beat by Appalachian State. It's allowing Michigan State, an improved team, a team that fortified itself in the transfer portal, to come in here and win in Hard Rock Stadium, going away in the 4th quarter. It's, losing to Virginia at home, a bad Virginia team that I know it came down to a kick at the end, but that game was lost the week before the game in game preparation that allowed Virginia to show up and just totally obliterate the Hurricanes in the 1st quarter, 151-10 total yardage, put Miami in a position where it was fighting uphill the entire game. It's the whole season, Matt. And now we got this Miami-Carolina game that's part of the whole mess. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens Saturday. It'll be a continuation of the drama that we've been watching unfold here this year. But unquestionably, nothing even close to what we expected. So on the website this morning, we start getting ready for Carolina. We have a story talking about how about the game and how things have evolved for the teams and how it is different. We also have this week's Tyreek Stevenson blog on the site this morning, and talked to Tyreek quite a bit about what happened during the open week, about the fight practice, the team meetings that evolved from that, what his perspective was on those things. And it's interesting, Tyreek is a guy who's somewhat of a veteran who came in here from Georgia, and he has a different perspective on it because of that, because he hasn't been here for 3 years like these guys, and can kind of give a fresh set of a fresh lens to the whole situation. So Tyreek Stevenson's blog, very interesting to check out today. Also a story on Charleston Rambo. And, I asked Charleston, Matt, he's a guy, think about this. He's a guy that came to Miami for something totally different than what this has been. He came to Miami to build a resume for the National Football League, and saw himself as a difference maker in this program, a guy that could be influential in games and could be a high profile cog in a team that was going to contend for the ACC title. Hasn't worked out that way. And if you're Charleston Rambo, you're frustrated as heck. But, he doesn't come across that way. He puts on a great front. He says the right things. But Matt, deep down, don't you think he has to be a little bit disappointed that he has not been Rambo, so to speak, for Miami football?
I mean, yeah, he was sold a false bill of goods. He was supposed to come in. Derek King was supposed to be the quarterback. There was supposed to be a better offense than last year, more innovative in year 2 of Brett Leslie's system. Instead, it's been a huge step backwards. He's been getting open, and he has been getting the ball, and he is their leading receiver, but certainly not the prolific numbers that many expected out of him and out of this offense. So, it's disappointing. I'm sure for him, the fact that he doesn't verbally say that, I think sort of shows his character. He's not a guy who's going to complain and things like that. So good for him. But yeah, this has not helped his NFL chances at all. What's going on with his offense right now, and with a new quarterback who, to be determined if he can, have explosive plays to Rambo, a lot in these games moving forward. I mean, certainly Rambo's available to make the play. The question is, can Van Dyke get him the ball the right way at the right time in the right space?
You mentioned his character, and I'll tell you, I've been very impressed with Rambo. I mean, and yeah, the fact that he's not bitching and moaning and not showing attitude is a tribute to him for all the reasons that I just stated. I mean, I hope this kid does well going forward in football. I think he does have NFL ability. I think in the big picture it will work out for him. And maybe the second half of the season he gets to shine even more than he did the first half of the season. But so we do have an update today on Charleston Rambo. Encourage everybody to check that one out as well. All right. Also a recruiting story today on Coach Hickson. His recruitment of Mark Fletcher, the very talented big running back at American Heritage. To me, a guy that Miami's got to get this program straight by next fall. They got to land Mark Fletcher. It's like enough is enough is enough. I know I just said that a minute ago, but enough is enough is enough. They're going to lose most of the top prospects from this year, more than likely, unless something absolutely seismic happens here in the next month and a half, and there's a coaching change of significance or something like that. If Miami can move fast enough to fix its program, but you just can't keep losing all these kids every year after year after year and expect Miami football to be Miami football. It won't be. Mark Fletcher, to me, Matt, without a doubt, must get 2023. Coach Hickson's, trying to do his job and make inroads with him. Your thoughts just on that whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, if Miami somehow remarkably runs the table, I think the perception changes about Manny Diaz and this program. So I'm not going to go ahead and say, oh, they're going to need a new coach to get these guys.
Okay, but would you acknowledge that having lost 5 straight games against Power 5 competition, they're not likely to now win 7 in a row to end the year?
Listen, if my kid's not doing well in some classes, which he doesn't do well in some classes, I'm not telling you which kid, but one of my kids has like a C right now in college. And, if he aces his next 7 tests, he's going to wind up with a B+ or an A-. And I'll be happy about it. I'm not happy about it right now. So, that's how fans are, right? I mean, Manny Diaz is not your child, although many of them probably want to spank him like he's their child.
We'll be happy if they win 7 straight. No doubt about it. Even the Doomers will be happy with a 7-game winning streak.
Because it shows progress.
The probability of that, Matt, is so minuscule.
Okay. I don't agree. I don't disagree. What I'm saying is I'm not putting the cart before the horse like you are. I'm not saying these recruits are all gone. If they lose these next 2 games, then we can say what you're saying.
They're all gone. Earl Little's gone. Shamar Stewart's gone. Marvin Jones is gone.
They weren't coming anyway. They weren't coming anyway.
You never even had a chance for that not to be true.
Listen, this is the reason why Miami's in this predicament. They can't get local kids to stay home, and it's not. Listen, even if the program was winning 10 games a year, 11 games a year, the way recruiting is now and the way these kids are now, it's not the old days where these kids all just want to stay home. It's just not the reality.
Because of the way that Miami's been doing business for more than a decade.
Yes and no.
100%.
The whole, listen, this whole house of cards started to fall apart with national networks. And Miami, I remember covering the team, and literally coaches would say, don't write about this kid. He's a secret. Only we know about him. And there's no secrets anymore. And these kids are getting recruited for 2, 3, 4 years by programs outside of the state, multiple programs that are top programs, all negative recruiting against Miami. And it doesn't matter if Miami is winning 10 or 11 games. There's always something to negative recruit against, whether it's a personal character trait of a coach or something, I mean, so it's just not the way it used to be. And, if Miami was Alabama, I agree, everyone's staying home. But Miami, it's hard to put it in terms that like people understand. But like Miami winning 10 or 11 games a year, these kids aren't staying home unless you're Alabama and you're winning national championships every year. Then everyone stays home. But to get there, you have to have already been there. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, which is, sort of a, to get there, you have to have already been there. I don't know if that makes any sense. It makes sense to me.
we won't ask you for a translation on all of that.
Like it's too late. In other words, it's too late. Like the ship sailed. Like it doesn't matter who comes in right now because you haven't been winning national championships the last 10 years where these kids even know who you are anymore. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right. I don't think it's hopeless. I think that it just needs a whole new approach. And
definitely not hopeless. Definitely not hopeless.
The first step of the process, hopefully, is going on right now. They have to figure out, can Blake James be part of it? And I'm going to leave it at that. That's step one. Can Blake James be part of the new Miami, the real new Miami?
Don't say the new Miami.
Not the fake
new Miami. Don't say the new Miami. Can you edit that out? I don't want to hear the phrase "the new Miami" ever.
No, but it's true. It needs to be the new Miami, like a real new Miami.
No.
They don't need to say it. It doesn't need to be verbalized.
How about it needs to be the old Miami? Let's go with the old. I'll take the old Miami. I want the old Miami.
Well, they want it to be the new Miami to become the old Miami. But anyway, listen. I think there's conversations. I know there's conversations. They need to be addressing these things, and that's step one for everybody that wants to know where this is all going. While the football team's playing North Carolina Saturday, step one starts at the top with the administration and figuring out what that's going to be moving forward. And if Blake is going to be part of the near future, how is he going to be part of the near future? And what is going to be done to help Blake do his job better? And we'll talk more about that once we know definitively what's happening. But you just can't stay status quo. I mean, it's obvious that Blake needs help if he's going to stay. He may not like me saying that. I'm sure he doesn't like me saying that. I'm saying it from the heart, Blake. If you're listening, you need help. You don't have anybody in the building that has any clue what a big-time football program is supposed to look like. And you've been trying to fly by the seat of your pants for almost 10 years now, and you need help. You need to accept you need help, and you need to get help if you're going to stay. If not, then the university has to go out and get help in the form of a more experienced, more seasoned, more high-powered, high-octane. I use the word killer. I know that's not a great word. I kind of caught myself the other day. I don't know if that's the best word in the world, but you need trained assassins, okay? The way college football is today, you need trained assassins in your athletic director office, in your head coach office, and that guy needs to then have a bunch of assassins working for him underneath that are relentless and are going to win recruiting battles. And right now, I would say T-Rob, we've seen the effort that he's put into recruiting this year. And, you certainly don't want to diminish that. He's going to be going through a little tough time here. It's going to be some decommits. Fagan's already decommitted out of Alabama. There's signs that Chris Graves is going to decommit. So there's going to be some disappointments here in recruiting. But to be successful, you need a staff of guys that recruit like T-Rob. And, I'm not sure they have that right now. And, that's something that's going to have to be looked at. But, these things, you can't jump ahead. You can't go to step 5 or 6 before you deal with step 1. To me, step 1 right now, as we sit here in the month of October, is Blake James. What's the future look like for him? What decision is going to be made there? Is he going to continue to run the athletic department? If he is, then step 2 is get him some damn help. And until that happens, we can't go to step 3. All right, Matt, I'm rambling. It's going to be good night, CaneSport, if I keep going. So I'm going to stop right there. Any parting thoughts for your legion of fans out there that have been loving
my cult followers? Okay, listen.
Cult followers have been loving your wisdom lately?
Oh, yeah. To my cult followers, I don't share food. Don't expect that either. When you're tenting out in front of the house, like I'm not going to be like having hummus and pita bread with you. It's not happening, okay? I eat my own stuff, not a sharer. Next Good Morning CaneSport, I would replace that. Use code Miami30 with Blake James call 1-800-Alonzo or something like that, because if that's the kind of help you're talking about, I think that would be a good move. That's what he needs, is a real head of staff. I mean, Ed Reed was out of practice yesterday, which is great, but honestly, guys helping to practice isn't going to change this program. You need guys who are talent evaluators with connections locally and things like that.
A badass who's in the trenches every day.
Yeah, I mean that's my parting thought.
An assassin.
Okay,
Alonzo Highsmith's an assassin. He might make somebody feel uncomfortable from time to time, but that guy's about winning. He's always been about winning, and I would not be surprised, Matt, if that one gets revived here in the coming weeks, because it made nothing but sense 2 years ago when we were advocating for it. I certainly was advocating for it. It didn't happen. Blake let Manny nix it. Big mistake. That's the other thing I tell Blake. Blake, you're running the damn athletic department, okay? And I know Blake's philosophy is, hey, I hire my coaches, I let them do their job. But when their coaches aren't doing their job real well, I don't know that flies as comfortably as maybe he would like it. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm getting off on a tangent again. Matt, I think that covers it for today. A lot of stuff on the website, everybody. Program, though, tonight, 8 o'clock, the Lamar Thomas Show. I encourage everybody to watch. It's going to be great. We've got Uncle Luke coming into the house. And, Matt, I've never done a show with Uncle Luke. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I grew up with Uncle Luke.
Listen, I've done interviews with Uncle Luke. Don't expect to do much talking. He's going to do all the talking.
We're also going to have Ryan Collins, Hurley Brown, and God knows who else is going to pop in during the course of the evenings tonight at 8. And for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for joining us once again on Good Morning CaneSport. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.